1970s love ballad may seem overly sentimental and sappy with time. Or a late 60s psychedelic jam becoming too far out. A tune that made you run to the dance floor probably still will. I mean, people will be grooving to songs like Night Fever forever. Even put something as silly as the Macarena on, and you just feel the need to do the moves. I'm Nostalgic Nick with Do You Remember? And today we're looking at some of the best dance songs from the danciest of decades, the 1960s. Be sure to hit that thumbs up icon for us, and subscribe to our channel for more. But come on, let's boogie. The Twist, Chubby Checker. From the moment Chubby Checker wails, "Come on, baby," the fight to stay still has already been lost. Your feet immediately begin tapping, your hips sway, and off you go, ready to twist the night away. When Checker released his cover of The Twist in 1960, few could have guessed that he'd light a fire that fed the dominant dance craze of the decade. But boy did he. It's been described as alternately putting a cigarette out with each foot, while at the same time drying your butt off with a towel. Or as Time magazine once put it, quote, "The arms thrust with the piston-like motions of baffled bird keepers fighting off a flock of attack blue jays." Well, sign me up. However you choose to dance along to Checker's hit, the single was certainly irresistible, even hitting #1 2 separate times, a feat that wouldn't be equaled on the Billboard charts for another 59 years. Do You Love Me? The Contours. A song that will never be forgotten, because I'm pretty sure it's written into the Constitution that it must be played at every single wedding till the end of time. I'm talking, of course, about this 1962 raucous good time, Do You Love Me? Legendary Motown Records owner Berry Gordy wrote the song for the Temptations, but when he couldn't find the group to record it, he instead gave the love to the Contours. And the single quickly became the band's biggest ever hit, telling the story of a young man hoping to win back his lover's heart, because now he can dance. The song is great because it references all the biggest dance crazes of the day, like the twist and the mashed potato. The song once again hit the charts in the late 80s, after being included in the Dirty Dancing soundtrack. And from Baby and Johnny to your great Aunt Bertha, you just can't help but swing your arms at this one. The Locomotion, Little Eva. Generally, a dance craze exists first, then someone writes a song to capitalize on the fad's popularity, like The Twist or The Hustle. But with this 1962 dance hit, writers Jerry Goffin and Carole King put the horse before the cart, because no such dance existed before the Locomotion became a hit. Which makes the song's first line of, "Everybody's doing a brand new dance now," both a lie and boldly psychic. Originally written for Dee Dee Sharp, more on her in a moment, this song was then given to Goffin and King's nanny, Eva Boyd. And when the song blew up and shot to #1, Boyd was forced to invent moves to perform while singing the single. And unlike other dance fads at the time, Little Eva did a line dance to this hit song, a preview of the disco era coming in 15 years. And soon, people were locomotioning all over the place. Let's twist again, Chubby Checker. Generally, sequels that are hastily written and released to pounce on the popularity of a hit movie or song are usually terrible. The Star Wars Christmas special comes to mind. But Chubby Checker's 1961 single, Let's Twist Again, somehow bucks that trend, and it's honestly pretty great.
Baby, twist. Yeah.
Normally a fad dance craze slowly fades away, and 6 months or a year later, teens have moved on to the next big thing. But after the twist had become a national phenomenon in 1960, the dance did not go anywhere, with numerous artists releasing their own take on the craze. And so Checker saw an opportunity to twist again, which would be a nostalgic look at the summer before. And the song, while not achieving the perfection of its older brother, was still a swinging good time, almost impossible not to dance to. Mashed Potato Time, Dee Dee Sharp. Probably the second most famous dance move of the 60s after the twist. The mashed potato was invented by James Brown in 1959, but the best known dance song featuring the dance was definitely Dee Dee Sharp's, with her warm, buttery, fluffy 1962 hit Mashed Potato Time. Okay, and let's ignore for a moment that the song's arrangement was a not so subtle ripoff of the Ronettes' Please Mr. Postman. Please, Mr. Postman. Because Sharp's single is simply the best song to Mashed Potato to. And how do you mash potato, you say? Well, by repeatedly swiveling your heels while on the balls of your feet. Basically the first steps of the 1920s Charleston. And seeing how that was the best description possible, I now fully expect you to be able to mash potato with me to Sharp's irresistible hit. Twist and Shout, the Beatles.
Well, shake it up, baby, now. Shake it up, baby. Twist and shout, twist and shout.
It seems unfair that this band wrote some of the decade's best love songs with Something, and rad psychedelic songs like Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. But they also released one of the 60s best dance songs. But that's the world we live in, and the Beatles are probably the greatest band of all time. When the Fab Four were recording their first full-length release, Please Please Me in 1963, they decided to finish off the album with a cover of the Isley Brothers' 1962 hit. The band recorded the record in a marathon session over the course of a single day, and by the time they laid down Twist and Shout in the wee hours of the morning, they were exhausted. And it shows, as John Lennon's shredded vocals are that of a man putting everything he's got left into a screaming good time. And the frayed nature of the singing gave this single an organic, unproduced feel that is still incredible to shake your hips to today. Do the Funky Chicken, Rufus Thomas. Definitely the most unique song on this list, Rufus Thomas's 1969 hit, Do the Funky Chicken, was a tongue-in-cheek take on the dance fads of the day. Although the chicken as a dance had been around since the 50s, no one took it to the bizarrest extremes that it could until Thomas sang this masterpiece. And if he's to be believed, the whole song and dance was ad-libbed live. As Thomas said, quote, "The words just started to come. I don't know how, they just came out of the blue. I just separated it. And look at the lyrics. You raise your left arm up, and your right arm too. And voila, the weirdest improv song and dance fads of the 60s. But Thomas was most certainly in on the joke, as he starts the record off with the mad sound of a cackling hen. And to his credit, he commits to the bit wholeheartedly and produces one of the most idiosyncratic dance hits of the 60s. Dancing in the Streets, Martha and the Vandellas. A song doesn't necessarily have to have a specific accompanying dance to be a fantastic shake your butt to song. Case in point, 1964's hit Dancing in the Streets, an exhortation to dance no matter where you are in the country. The single certainty serves its purpose, because while you listen, it's hard not to rush out into traffic and break it down. I mean, this song, originally written by Marvin Gaye, was adopted as an anthem during the civil rights protests of the late 60s, with marchers quite literally dancing in the streets. And despite being covered by such varied artists as Van Halen and the Grateful Dead, the 1964 original, belted out by Martha Reeves, remains the best version and one of the best dance songs of all time. And please, no one mention the 1985 cover by Mick Jagger and David Bowie, and certainly don't look up that music video after this. So what do you think? Are you dancing yet? And I know what you're gonna say, wait, no shout? How could you leave off the best dance song of all time? Well, because the Isley Brothers' hit was released in 1959. Dang, so close. So let's discuss. Which of these songs was your favorite to dance to? And what other 1960s dance song deserves to be on this list? I know there are others. Heck, I could add a few others by Martha and the Vandellas. Remember Heat Wave?
It's like a heat wave, burning in my heart.
So get in the comments and let's grow this dance playlist. As always, please be sure to hit that thumbs up button for us and subscribe to the channel for more throwback fare. But from all of us here at Do You Remember, thank you very much for watching.